Hey everyone, Hey everyone, so today we're looking at the Dudios TIC True Wireless earbuds. This is the first pair of earbuds I reviewed from Dudios. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Also the first pair of earbuds with a dedicated gaming mode for low latency gaming for those that want to get their game on. Now these do retail for about $40 Australian on Amazon. And these were sent to me by Dudios, so thank you lovely people at Dudios. They also sent me a 20% discount code, which is down in the description below if you want to grab these, and that expires July 31st. So act quick, I don't make any commission off this. They were just nice enough to sort my viewers out here, you lovely viewers. But before you go ahead and grab these, you'll be getting my honest, picky opinion as usual. We're going over both pros and the cons, and we're going in depth. So if you're picky with your audio, so am I. And I'm here to help. Let's get into another picky review. Alright, so starting with the physical features here and kind of reflective of the price, you're just getting some kind of basic hard plastics here that have a little bit of a slippery feel to them. This does make them quite hollow, but also quite lightweight, which can definitely help with comfort. Leading up to the top of the stem, you have your silicone ear tip, and as we make our way down the stem, you have your indicator light right at the bottom there. And it only lights up when you put the earbuds in the case and when they're charging, which is really nice, so no unnecessary flashing going on. I like it. But overall, these kind of have like a hybrid AirPod Pro kind of thing going on here. It's quite minimal. I really do like it, even though the materials aren't the best, they aren't super duper premium. But what's more important is the comfort, and that's where these bad boys shine through. So included in the box, you're gonna get small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. The medium and the large fit me really well. The medium was probably just a little bit better. And these do have a kind of a deeper fit going on here. So they work really well with my ear canal. I always notice that deeper fitting earbuds work really well for me. So if you notice that, these will probably be really good for you as well. If you notice that shallow fitting earbuds are a little bit better, these might not be the best. So be mindful of that. So the combination of that deeper fit and the really lightweight design, these are really secure, they're really comfortable, and I can wear them for hours. The only small con here is due to that stem design. The bottom of the stem kind of rests on like the top of my jaw where my beard is. So say if I'm walking or running, that'll kind of rub against my beard and you hear a bit of a sound going on with the stem into your ear. But you only really notice this when there's no music playing. If you have music on, even at a low volume, you won't really notice it. So minor gripe there. Now these are marketed more towards gaming, but a little bit of everyday use as well. And they do have an IPX4 rating, so they're fine from splashes of water from any angle, so they'll be fine for using in the rain and for working out as well. Now, generally stem design earbuds don't have the best fit and security for training, but for running with these, they actually stay in really well. Even like when you're running, you're moving your head around, they stay in really well. It's only that stem kind of rubbing against, again, the top of my jaw there, which created a bit of sound, but again, you don't really hear it when you have music playing. So good stuff with running. With weight training, this also worked a lot better than I expected. Probably the best stem design earbud that I've actually tested. They still come loose kind of every now and then, so you have to readjust here and there. So I personally wouldn't use them as my primary workout earbud. I'm pretty picky, in case you didn't know, so I'll use something with like a wingtip design or that has a bit more of a secure fit. But still, really good stuff overall for especially a stem design earbud. All right, now into the case and the battery life here, and you're gonna get a total of 20 hours with the case and the earbuds, and about 4.5 hours with the earbuds themselves. I'm still running my test now, so I'll whack up a test here with my result at 50% volume. And also at 50% volume, this is definitely loud enough for easy listening. There is no wireless charging or fast charging. It takes about 2 hours to charge your earbuds from dead to full, as well as the case. Again, you don't really expect that stuff at this price point. However, these do charge via micro USB, which I personally don't mind. I don't know why people get so devastated when things charge via micro USB, like I still charge my PS4 controller. So I've always got a micro USB cable lying around. It's actually a little bit easier than a USB-C for me, so no real issues there. And you get a little cable included. It's on the smaller side, but they give you one in the box. That's nice. Even though battery life may not be the best here, the case is still on the smaller side. It's definitely pocketable, but I reckon they could have made it a little bit more compact. And the materials here are pretty much the same as the earbud. You got your kind of like hard plastics. It's a little bit lightweight, but the actual case overall feels pretty sturdy. So good stuff there with the case. Only downside is that taking the earbuds in and out of the case is a bit awkward. It takes a bit of getting used to. And I found the most natural way to put the earbuds back in the case is to take the left earbud out of your ear with your right hand, whack it back in the case, and it's like the opposite. So left hand with right earbud, whack it in the case. And when you take them out of the case, they're kind of slippery. There's not too much to grab onto, but it's something you kind of get used to. Again, just a minor con, nothing deal breaking. Finally, the magnets here are strong enough. I mean, a small shake and their earbuds will fall out, but they'll do the job. And then when you take them out of the case, the earbuds connect within 8 seconds. And I had no issues when putting the earbuds back in the case. They'll disconnect straight away. So good stuff overall. All right, moving on to touch controls. And sadly, these control everything except for volume. And I'm gonna put up all the controls here so you can see how it works. They could have just added in a single tap on the right to go up in volume and a single tap on the left to decrease volume. So maybe in the future, Dudios, whack that in there. But overall, you're getting a really good experience with the touch controls. They're really responsive. It doesn't matter if you press them kind of soft or if you press them kind of hard and fast. They respond basically all the time, which is really nice. Slight con is that you don't get any sound feedback in your earbud when you play or pause or skip tracks forward and back. You only get sound feedback when you triple tap on the right earbud to enter the low latency mode. So you'll get 2 beeps when it goes into low latency mode and 3 beeps when you exit low latency mode. More on the gaming mode later. Finally, there's no app customization for your controls or EQ or anything. There's also no auto pause or play when you take the earbuds out, but not really expected at this price point. All right, now onto Bluetooth and connectivity. And right off the bat, these have Bluetooth 5.0. And I couldn't find on the website or anything what codecs they're using, but when I connected them to my Mac, I could see they were using AAC. So I assume AAC and SBC. But either way, whatever codec they use, barely noticed any latency on YouTube and Netflix. Tested on an iPhone XS, even when I wasn't in the low latency mode. When you triple tap to go into the low latency mode, the gaming mode basically, I probably noticed the latency improved just the slightest amount when playing COD Mobile. And it's the slightest amount that'll make a big difference for your pro mobile gamers out there. Also, when I changed to low latency mode, I didn't really notice any change in the sound quality as well. That could just be me, but yeah, that's a good thing, I guess. Now, I'm no mobile gamer, but I started hitting up a bit of COD Mobile recently, thanks to some comments down below requesting a bit of latency testing. So the last game I played on mobile was Tap Tap Revenge. So if you know any good mobile games out there and good ones for testing latency, drop down some comments down below and let me know. Moving on to Bluetooth range here, and in my outdoor test across 27 meters in a clear open space, it's only got 80%, which is the lowest I've tested. And in my indoor test across 17 meters, downstairs, upstairs, through about 5 walls, it's only got about 70%. So it could be because of the latency thing going on here, but definitely the worst range I've tested. So, I mean, if you're using these in pretty close proximity, then they should be fine. But I don't know if you're gonna use them in a gym or something and you're trying to go pretty far away from your phone, these may not be the best go. I also tested the Bluetooth range with low latency mode on and off, and it was pretty much the same as well. Despite that, connection has been really good. Overall, I had no other issues, except for one occasion where I'll connect these to my MacBook and then say I wanted to switch over to my iPhone. And instead of just disconnecting from the Mac and then connecting to my iPhone, you have to disconnect from the Mac, whack them back in the case or turn them off by holding the earbuds down for 8 seconds and then connect to your phone. It's a kind of annoying, but if you're switching a lot, then this might not be the best, but I don't really do that too often, so all good there. And finally, another pro here is that you can use the left or the right earbud individually, and if you're using just one earbud, you're gonna hear both audio channels come out, which is really good. Good stuff overall. Okay, onto the microphone test now, and I think this picks up my voice quite well. I generally notice that stem design earbuds with the microphone at the bottom of the stem work pretty well, even though they do rest on the jaw there. The noise cancelling of background noise wasn't the best, but I'll whack up some tests here so you guys can hear for yourself. All right, so here is a microphone test with the Dudios Tick. So now I'm going to add some background noise playing off my computer speakers in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now I have a crowd noise playing in the background to mimic what it would sound like if you were to take a phone call in a noisy environment. All right, before moving on to my favorite part, sound quality, just a quick little drop of my Instagram, which I just started recently. If you want to stay updated with all my latest audio ventures and behind the scenes action, I'll leave a link down in the description below. All right, before we start with the sound quality here, to letting you know my bias, I listen to a lot of metal, rock, hardstyle, EDM, psytrance, anything short, fast, loud, and that gets your heart pumping. So just letting you know so you get an idea of the kind of music that I like to listen to, but I still like to listen to everything. All right, starting with the volume here. And like I said before, at 50%, you're getting a nice, decent, easy listening volume there. 80 to 85%, that's probably as loud as I would go with these. These do go really loud. I did test this on an iPhone XS. Anywhere above 90%, and you're in deaf territory, so make sure you be picky with your hearing, guys. Don't be going deaf. Also, for any bedtime listeners, at the lowest volume, These sadly don't go low enough. They're still quite loud at the lowest volume, but these do have pretty decent passive noise isolation, and there's only the slightest amount of white noise when music is playing in the background. So good stuff overall there. Now onto the sound here, and this was kind of a refreshing change here. Generally with the budget realm around this price point of $40, $50, the focus always seems to be on really intense bass, which is not really the case here. The bass here is a lot more punchy, it's well mannered, it's definitely not on the boomy side at all, but it's definitely still there. This wouldn't be a pair if like you're a bass head, you listen to like a lot of EDM and rap and that kind of stuff. This might not be the go, but this creates a pretty clean experience overall for the mids and the highs. And I assume that's the case here since these are directed more to gaming with that gaming mode. There should be more of an emphasis on the mids and the highs. So like say if you're playing COD Mobile, you want to pinpoint where someone is in the environment, you can be able to hear it a lot better with a lot better sound imaging and be able to figure out exactly where they are on the map. So the mids are really solid here, like the vocals come through quite well, instrumentation is very forward, and this is kind of the same situation with the high end. It's pretty direct, it's definitely on the brighter side, but even at high volumes, it definitely doesn't get too harsh. But since you're only paying like $40, you're not gonna get the best precision and detail in that high end. But again, with that emphasis on the mid and the high, and still a pretty decent low end, you're getting a really decent, clean experience overall. And it kind of works with any genre. And again, this gives room for the sound imaging to really shine through, not just when gaming, but also when listening to music, being able to pick out where instruments are coming from in space is actually pretty solid. And again, a lot better than most earbuds at this price point, where the main focus is the bass. All right, so now moving on to the genre checklist, just so you can get a really good idea of how I think they sound with each individual genre. Now let's start as usual with EDM. I'm gonna give these a 6 out of 10 to start here, mainly because with EDM, a big driver is that bass. And again, you're still getting a good experience, but a bit more bass would provide a little bit more energy with your EDM tracks. Pop and radio, 7 out of 10, mainly because the emphasis on the mids and the highs bring the vocals forward really well, which is a big driver in pop and your radio music. Hip hop and R&B, I'm gonna give these also a 6 out of 10, similar to EDM, where big, deep, boomy bass is gonna be more of the focus with that sub bass. But again, still a really good experience. It's not like you get no low end, it's still definitely there, but a little bit more emphasis there just brings out that music a little bit better. Now with metal, I'm gonna give these a 7 out of 10. Now, generally I like my metal with like a lot of bass. It kind of gives you that nice big live sound, which you still get a little bit here, but the main reason I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 is because of that precision in the mids and the highs. Makes everything sound really clean, and you'll be able to pick out all the different instruments a lot better than a lot of other earbuds here. So good stuff with metal there. Now with rock, a 6 out of 10 here, mainly because there isn't as much going on with metal. So a bit of that bigger live sound with more bass and low end would have worked a little bit better here. Now with indie and acoustic, I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. This was kind of close to an 8 since the high end and the bright sound always works really well with like acoustic stuff. But you're getting an 8 out of 10, you gotta get more precision, and that's generally what you'll be getting a score with more higher end earbuds. But really close, really good stuff with Indian acoustic. Same with jazz, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. I find it's a bit more bright stuff going on with the instrumentation and the drums, the ride cymbals, the hi-hats, sax, piano, all that stuff. It works really good here, and the instrument separation is on point. Finally here as well with classical, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. There's not too much low end, so you don't get a really big sound, but again, with all that orchestration, instrument separation, you're getting a decent experience overall here. All right, moving on to subgenres, and as usual, starting with hardstyle here. Similar to EDM, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10, mainly because with hardstyle, a big focus is that deep bass with the kicks, all the different frequencies going on. Again, it still sounds really good, but you just don't get as much energy and oomph in the sound. With trap and dubstep though, 7 out of 10. I find that the punchier bass works quite well with the very kind of syncopated, attacking style that trap and dubstep has to offer. And this is also the same for psytrance. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I just find that punchier bass works, and it kind of allows the synth and that psychedelic sound to come through a little bit more, whereas the boomy bass can kind of take over with psytrance. Now with trance, and I'm thinking more pure trance, 7 out of 10, mainly because it's more of a bright sound with the synths, a lot of vocals, and a lot of female vocals, and you get that nice euphoric sound come through quite well with your pure trance. Now techno, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. I'm kind of thinking more heavy techno, which is what I like to listen to. Again, it's more sub bass focused. The percussion comes through really well. I'd say it's very like kick, low end, sub bass, and hi-hat focused. So 6 out of 10, still really good, but again, not too much oomph going on. I say oomph a lot, but that's a good way to explain that, I guess. And finally, symphonic metal, combining the complexity of metal and classical. 7 out of 10 here. You're getting, again, really good, clean sound overall. Everything comes through really well. Orchestration comes through, which is generally quite hard to come through with all the stuff going on with the screams and the metal and all the crazy instrumentation. So really good stuff overall. Finally, does it degent? Yes, it does. 7 out of 10. Kind of similar to metal here. And degent a lot of it's quite vocal focused, so the vocals come forward quite well and everything sounds really good. Distorted guitars sound great and the drums come through really well. All right, wrapping it up here. And for my first Dudios product that I've reviewed, I'm pretty impressed. I was honestly a little bit apprehensive at first, just kind of going off the build quality here, but after testing these for a solid week, they definitely exceeded my expectations. And what really impressed me was just their overall simplicity. And if you're an avid mobile gamer, like at only $40 and again, 20% off before July 31st, it's really cheap. You're getting some great value here for low latency gaming. They're really comfortable. You'll be able to wear them for long periods of time. And just for general use, I think they work pretty well. If you're gonna go use them for walking, running, training, they might not have the best secure fit, but they definitely do a lot better than most stem designs that I've tested personally. Just a few minor cons to remember. The battery life may not be the best, like 20 hours all up. It does use micro USB if you can't handle a little bit of micro USB action, and you can't control the volume. Apart from that, everything else is really solid overall here. And I'm definitely keen to test more Dudios products out. All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you liked the video, chuck a like down below, comment any questions or earbud requests you have down below. I reply to all comments down there, so don't be shy. Please subscribe, hit that bell button down below to make sure you stay updated. We've got videos coming out weekly, so in the meantime, stay tuned, and of course, stay picky with your audio, because life's too short for crappy sound. See you in the next video. Bye now.